Good morning, everyone, and thank you for tuning in for another episode of The Next Level Live. Today, we will get started looking at our numbers. In December week 2, we issued 8,004,000, which brings our December month to date in volume at 20,365,000, and our 2023 year to date in volume at 484,867,000. Moving on, we do have some agents to shout out today. This week for our agent spotlight, we featured Layla Espinel with FFL Luna Mia. Layla is being recognized for helping 328 families year to date. Great work, Layla. This week for My Story, we featured Ioana Payton with FFL Great Lakes. Ioana is being recognized for helping 234 families year to date. Great work, Ioana. We do have 2 members to induct into our Agency Hall of Fame this morning. A big congrats to second-timer John Gavin with FFL North and second-timer Michael Fell with FFL Allegiance. Congrats to you both. We also have a number of agents to induct into our Personal Production Hall of Fame. A big congrats to first-timer Jesse Stam with FFL National. Congrats to first-timer April Turpin with FFL Shield. Big congrats to third-timer Riyadh Morsali with FFL Platinum. Big congrats to first-timer Malad Mina with FFL Prosper. Congratulations to third-timer Garrett Duet with FFL Precision. And congrats to third-timer Adam Marquis with FFL Mountaineers. Great work to you all. Coming up next, we've got Pressure Point with Sean Mike and Inside the Sale with Shannon Womble. Enjoy.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Pressure Point, and more importantly, The Next Level Live. What I want you to think about as you look at your business, I want you to find one area of strength where you're like, it could be multitasking. It could be my sales numbers are great. It could be my recruit numbers are great. It could be my quality of business is great. It could be, man, I'm really good at fixed index annuities. Whatever it is, find something and write that strength down. This is my biggest strength in the business right now. Maybe you've been with us for 3 days, but your biggest strength has been able to schedule. You know, I've been committed to working every one of those days. Whatever your biggest strength is, and then your biggest weakness. So I did this early on in my very first month. I was listening to this train and I was like, you know what? He didn't ask me for this, but I'm going to do this. What's my biggest strength right now? It was my work ethic. My commitment to working was my biggest strength. What was my biggest weakness in the business? I didn't see myself as a businessman. I saw myself as a really, really hard worker, and I could be a really, really good producer. I didn't just see that I could be a really, really good businessman. And that was a struggle for me that I had to get my hands around or I wouldn't become successful. What is your biggest strength as of right now in this business? What is your biggest weakness? And then what will you do to ensure that this area of strength becomes stronger? And more importantly, probably, how this area of weakness can get shored up. How do you put yourself in a better position? How do you ensure it's not your area of weakness for the rest of the day, the rest of the month, the rest of the year, or damn, the rest of your life? So you have to bifurcate your business and think about those things. A lot of us want to think about what's only going good, or a lot of us only want to think about what's only going bad. Hey, this is what's going good, this is what's going bad. This is why I needed to continue to do this. This is why I need to stop doing this. How do I make those changes and commit to those things? And next month, it might be 2 other things. You might have a new area of strength and a new area of weakness, but you have to be honest with yourself on a daily basis so you can get successful. So hope that helps. Now on to our amazing Next Level Live training. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all you do to make Family First Life the company that it is.
All right, today on Inside the Sale right here on Next Level Live, got my man Shannon Womble in the house. How we doing, bro?
Good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
Awesome. You look great.
I'm trying. Well, I knew you were coming up. I had to clean up, you know? Yeah.
You got your best hat and your best
my
t-shirt.
best hat, my best shirt. Yeah, my new, shaved for once this month. So I did it all for you.
I finally got my tats and everything. I got them all covered up now.
I know. You can always take your shirt off for the podcast.
Well, we could, but that might be a problem.
That would definitely be a problem.
I know it has
We
been
tried
in the
that.
past.
Yes. Wink, wink. We've tried that before.
Remember, Sean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, we love you, Sean. So What we're talking about today is your process. You said to me you have a 5-step process.
Yes, I do.
That is very simple. You told me you had a guy in his 60s who learned how to follow this, right? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
So
my top guy
perfect.
who has used it and he hit Hall of Fame with it.
Love it. And you've hit Hall of Fame now. How many times have you been Hall of Fame?
This will be my my should be 4, but it's 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hit
yeah, we know. If you've not checked out the True Talk that Shannon and I did, check that out. That's a great podcast. Yeah. But we talk about that a great deal where you missed it by 14 families 1 year.
14 families, but it was my fault.
It was.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it was.
And I love you for owning that. But anyways, this will be your 3rd time this year.
Correct.
Yeah, so you hit it, missed it, then hit it again.
No, I missed it, hit it.
Got it. Okay, well, ever since the first miss, you've not missed
right.
again.
You don't go back, bro.
Perfect. Well,
don't go back.
You're all telesales now? Is that accurate?
100%.
100%. Yes, so talk to me. Do you say you have a 5-step process? How's that work?
Yeah, it works awesome. When I was in the home and where I struggled early on was setting proper expectations.
Okay.
Right? I was going in and winging it. You know, you can't go in all willy-nilly. You got to have a process, right? And so I just took, everything that I'm talking about is nothing that I created. It's just everything. This is the best business as far as, copy and paste, right? Yeah. So I just took what everything works for other people and kind of made it my own. And the first step is the introduction. And where it's like, hey, Mike, how are you? Shannon Womble calling, whether this is going to be an appointment or whether it's, one call close.
What are you doing mostly? One call closes or?
Well, I'm doing a mix.
Yeah.
I do have appointments, and then I'm calling, one call close to fill in the white space.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if I was calling you,
yeah,
there'd be the introduction, and we go into the verification.
Yeah.
So second step, third step is a qualification.
Okay.
Right, or the expectation. I'm sorry, and then the 4-step qualification, and then solution. Right.
Gotcha.
Those are the 5 steps. So the introduction, everybody knows, real simple. Hey, Mike, how are you? Shannon Womble calling. Looks like you recently filled out a request on social media to get some information on that Index Universal Life Policy.
Yeah.
The one that accrues compound interest over time. You remember doing that? And I'm like, my job's simple. And then we're heading right into the second step. So you got to have a smooth transition. You don't want to have any awkward, dead airspace because that's an invitation for a click. Right. So you transition. Hey, it's my job is super, super simple, Mike. It's just go ahead and find out what you qualify for.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to need to verify some information that you put down real quick. I have you at 123 Success Lane in Virginia Beach. Is that right? Yeah. You put down that you're a non-smoker, beneficiary, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So you do all that, and then you just say, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. You're making my job super simple, man. And so just so you know, another transition.
Yeah.
Is then we'll go ahead and transition into how these plans work. They're non-medical. There's no medical exam, just medical questions. That's where I come into play as a medical field underwriter to find out exactly what you qualify for. And going back to what we talked about on the podcast before on Inside the Sale, we just want to make sure that they know how much you care. So I'm like, hey, Mike, really important for me to understand why you filled this out. Like, what is your goal? How do you want this protection? What are you looking for this protection to do for your family? And then find out exactly.
What do they normally say then?
Well, some are like, I don't remember filling it out.
Yeah.
You get all kinds of stuff. But once we get past all that, right, everybody knows how to handle those objections. Right. Once we get all past that, most of them are like, well, I'm looking to go ahead and make sure that my mortgage is taken care of. Cool. We want to take, I just want it to be paid for.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're not moving on until you get that out of them.
No, I can't.
Because if they go, I just really need the information. How much does it cost? You're not gonna you're gonna make sure you get that why out of them before you move to that next step.
Yeah. So the first step, introduction, then verification.
Yeah.
Find out then immediately before you get into the expectations.
Sure.
Right. Of what you expect, how the call is going to go, and what they expect. Right.
Yeah.
You have to find that.
Right.
Like you're dead in the water.
Yeah.
Telling, selling, bro.
Yeah.
Telling and selling, and we don't want to sell anything.
No.
Right. People tell all the time. No thanks. Who are you? You're just calling me up, dude.
Right.
Like, no thank you.
Yeah.
Done. Click.
Yeah.
Right. So we find that out, and you say, okay, I got it. Right. And you don't. I'm big on not talking about the product until I find out, or I'm big on talking strategy before the product, right? Like, I get it, Mike. You just want to go ahead and make sure that your family's protected, right? They don't necessarily want mortgage protection, Mike.
Right.
They don't necessarily want final expense or index universal life. What our clients want is something that makes sense in their budget and makes sense for their family. Simple. And they want it from someone they trust.
Right.
Right? So that's one part of building that trust, is finding out what they want, showing how much, that you do care, that you're listening to people.
Yeah.
Got 2 ears, man.
Right.
Right? Go ahead and listen. So once we figure that out, then we can go ahead and talk strategy prior to the product. We don't know what they're going to qualify for.
Right.
Hey, man, I got it, Mike. You just want to go ahead and make sure that your family's protected. You're not necessarily trying to make anybody rich, are you?
Nope.
No? Okay. I'm guessing, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, that your budget might be important to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. That's what I'm really good at.
Right. I got to imagine everyone says yes then. There's nobody
No one's told me
that.
that. And I tell people that. I was like, you
Yeah.
know what? You're just like all my clients. Nobody's
Right.
ever
No
said
one's
that.
got budget doesn't matter, Shannon.
Yeah,
just
you
run it
kinda
up.
Joke around with them. Like, you sure you don't have any extra money laying around burning a hole in your pocket?
Right.
You sure? Come on, man.
Yep.
Yeah. And so you get them laughing a little bit, and they understand that you're not out to go ahead and, go after a big sale.
Right.
Yeah. And so then we just go into a third step, expectations, right? They expect a couple of things, especially in telesales, Mike. They want to make sure that they're not being scammed.
Right.
Right? They want to know that they're dealing with a licensed professional. So what we do, in the majority of everybody, I take a picture of my license.
Yeah.
And I also include, I make a copy with my driver's license on it.
Okay.
I'm completely transparent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, Mike, is this a cell phone? Because we got some older clients. There are some flip phones out there.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a bear when you get them. Right? And some of them still don't have any emails. Whew, we got a problem.
Yeah.
Right? So we got to find out if we got a player. Right? So are you good with technology, Mike?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. You got a smartphone. You get, pictures and text, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you know how to go ahead and get those while we're talking?
Yes.
If you're talking to an older client.
Right.
Right? Yes, we do. Okay, if not, I can step you through it. I'm going to go ahead and send you my Virginia State Life Health and Annuities license. It's going to have a copy of my driver's license right now. This way, Mike, you know that you're doing business with a licensed professional.
Yeah.
Okay? I shoot that over to you. Did you get that? Yes. Okay, cool. You can go ahead and check me out on the, state corporation website. I am who I am, man. Complete transparency here.
Yeah.
And I've had some people say, hey, how do I know that's not fake? You got an iPhone? Yep. FaceTime me right now, dude.
There you go.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. And I got that from one of my guys. He did it. And I was like, that's brilliant.
Right.
Right. Always learning. And so anyways, once we do that, they expect to deal with a licensed professional. Right. So we take care of that. Then I explain, all right, Mike, what we're going to do here today, I'm just going to ask you some simple yes-no medical questions. From there, that's going to go ahead and lead me down this path of which carrier is going to give you the best rate. Again, getting back to that whole budget thing, right? And who's going to go ahead and get you approved, if you do it all, right? Then we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the mortgage, right? Finance rate. We're going to go ahead and talk about how long the term is, how much the monthly mortgage is, right? Then we'll talk about anything that you have that may currently help offset that mortgage, dude. Through traditional life insurance. We'll talk about that because my goal is not to sell you this big old $300,000 mortgage protection policy. I'm going to try and help save you some money, again, if you don't mind.
How
cool?
How is it dealing with other coverage over the phone? Because I know I've said this so many times on this show. When I sold, it was only in the house. I never did telesales. So I could go, Shannon, where's your policy that you have with X, Y, and Z? I don't know where it's at. Want me to help you find it? And what do you magically do? 5 seconds later, you come out with the policy, right? So when you hear that over the phone, how do you manage other coverage when you're not in the house?
Well, when I'm not in the house, it's real simple, kind of like the same way.
Okay.
All right. I don't know where it is. And, well, Mike, I'm confused, man. Like, if you don't know where it is now, how's your family going to know where it is when you die?
Yeah.
Right? So it's really important. Come on, where is it? Did they send you an email? Where is it?
Yeah.
And I kind of work through it that way.
Got it.
And then they get it. I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah.
Again, it's just an effort to go ahead and help you, Mike.
Right.
Now, how much coverage did you have? Right. And then I just keep on moving forward.
Gotcha.
And I find out exactly how much they have. And, some folks are like, no, we just got it. I just did one for some folks in Florida.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, no, we just took care of that. I was like, well, how much coverage? Good. I just need to go ahead and clear your file. How much coverage was it, and which company?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my husband took care of that. I don't know, but we're good though. I'm like, do you know how much you're paying? Oh yeah, I know that. And she's like, $100 for the two of you? Yeah. How much coverage? About $500,000. I'm like,
Yeah, sure.
It's like, well, here's the thing. I've seen an uptick in a lot of new agents in the state of Florida. And being in the business for quite some time, seems like that's 100% accidental death. When's your husband going to be home?
Yeah.
And so we got them some coverage,
Right.
that they would not, I guess the other agent didn't know, right?
Sure.
They had some underwriting. Maybe it was a new agent. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Anyways, we took care of that.
Yeah.
So there's an art to kind of handling that.
Yeah.
But anyways, we find that out. And then I let them know, hey, we're going to talk a little bit about your finances, not to be nosy, man. But part of my job is to find out exactly what does your financial landscape look like upon death for your family. What are they facing? So right now we're going to talk a little bit about your income, what you got coming in, and anything that might act like life insurance through, I don't know, Mike, anything like any old 401ks, current, 401ks, TSPs, things of that nature, because they do avoid probate. Does that make sense? They're like, yeah, okay, so I have your permission for that. Yes, big Eric Schmidt thing right there.
Right.
Do I have your permission for that? And once you get the buy-in on that, then I'm like, okay, let me, at the end of the call, Mike, we're going to put in a request for coverage. And what that looks like is real simple. The same information that you put down on your credit application for the mortgage, or if it's a final expense or whatever type lead it is, say, have you ever filled anything out for credit?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, sure. Okay, cool. Same information that you put down on that credit application is the same information that the insurance carriers require. Now, I'm just a messenger, but what they're going to ask you for is some sensitive information. That's why I sent you my credentials. They're going to ask you for your date of birth, your address, your social security number to review your medical records. Then at the end of the call, they're going to ask you for your checking or savings account information, right? Because they need to know that you have a valid source for paying for this. Does that make sense? They're going to ask for that now? Absolutely. Do you have any questions or concerns on this process? And if they say, yeah, I'm going to find out why.
Right.
What it is, if I can't overcome it, I'm going to say, well, I'm not the quote guy.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that's going to go ahead and get you qualified. So if you have any reservations at all, feel free to check my credentials out. Give me a text back.
Yeah.
Because I need to get on to the next client that desperately needs this information to protect their family.
Got it. I just want to pause you there. I love how every step of the way you're doing everything possible to give them a way out.
That's right.
Because you don't want the surprise at the end.
Nope.
You don't want to get through everything, and then I go, all right, Shannon, they need a checking account information to make sure you have something on file, and then you lose your mind. Like, I'm not giving you that.
Yeah.
But you've already verified prior. You've already let them know you're going to need this. Is that going to be a problem? Do you have any questions about that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, new agent probably cringe when they hear that. It's like, well, if you do, they're going to give you objections. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And if they're going to give them to me, I want them.
That's
so
right.
we can work through them.
Let's get past it now.
Right. It's not it's just to work through them. It's the reason they need it is because obviously if your policy goes in force, they're going to need a payment.
Yeah.
If it's approved, they're going to need a payment for it to go in force.
That's right.
And we're not here just talking about quotes. Like, you're here to buy life insurance.
That's right.
And if you're not, let me know so we can move on to the next client that's here to buy life insurance.
And here's the thing, Mike, they're going to give you pushback at the end too.
Sure.
But now that I set it up, and if you refuse to go ahead and give me your social or any other information that we talked about, I'm going to just lower my tone.
Yeah.
Say, Mike, I'm a little confused here. Mm-hmm. Like before when I explained everything, you said you didn't have any questions or concerns, and suddenly you do.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I'm just the messenger, right?
Yeah.
You said this was important to you. I'm confused.
Yeah.
And then we can go ahead and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to have to go over it again.
Right.
Right. You still will get some pushback.
Sure.
But it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, because you've gone through this already. So now you're just reverting back to something they've already told you versus
That's right.
trying to get them to agree to it while they're giving you the pushback at the end. It's like, dude, we just talked about this 5 minutes ago. You said that your kids would be screwed. They'd be homeless if you passed away.
That's right.
So what's changed from that point to now? Like, did you hit the lottery in the last 10 minutes? Well, what's changed?
Yeah.
But you've done that already.
That's right.
That's huge.
Yeah. So that's third step, expectations.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time on that.
Okay.
I'd rather spend a lot of time there than a
Sure.
lot of time in steps 1 through 4 and then get crushed at the end.
Yeah.
You know, the most valuable thing that we have, whether it's in the home or on the phone, is time. That's our most valuable commodity here at FFL.
Right.
Right? And I'm not going to waste anybody's, mine or theirs.
How long does your appointment normally go?
Well, it depends. I typically have a longer,
Yeah.
appointment time.
Yeah.
You know, sometime anywhere from
An hour or more?
I've had them, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
Up to an hour and 15 minutes.
Got it. Which I don't think there's anything wrong with. Like,
I don't think
almost,
so either.
You know, in the home, it's always like, how do we, get in and out, not be there for 3 hours? But on the phone, you're not there. There's a lot. You need to do more to get them comfortable, I believe.
That's
Because
right.
if I'm looking you in the face, most people can make a pretty good judgment in a few seconds of, hey, do I trust this guy or not? Over the phone, it's harder.
Yeah.
So I think it would benefit you from a quality business standpoint to spend a little extra time on the phone.
That's right.
You know?
And the quality of business for me, is probably better than it was in the field.
Really?
Yeah. Because I do spend that amount of time
Yeah.
with the client. And it's slowly creeping up,
Yeah. Good.
from when it was in the field.
Right. Good. Good.
I had to do something.
Hey.
So then once we take care of those expectations, Mike, we get into the qualification.
Okay.
Right. And this is where, we have, our financial inventory sheet that we utilize, whatever they're using. We go into that
Yeah.
and we come up with a solution, based on their needs and budget.
Yeah.
And it's real simple, man. And if they give me if I sense anything that anybody is hesitant
Yeah.
on the money, I'll say, hey, Mike, seems like that was a little bit of a painful payment, right? Like, yeah, I got it. You just want to go ahead and make sure that, you want to do the most for your family, but hey, we got a budget. You still want to go out to the movies, have dinner and this and that. You still want to live, right? Nobody wants to be insurance poor. I got it. Can I give you an insider tip? They're like, yeah, sure. This is what most of my clients do. We just need to verify whether or not we can go ahead and get you qualified. Like I said, once you're approved, the money does come out of your account.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do, remember this, Mike, one thing that we always have to do is always build value. When I was in the car lot, there was always be closing. Here, it's always build value.
I like that.
So what I say is, hey, Mike, what we're going to do, once we get that approval, you're going to have options. You're going to be able to go ahead. You got 30 days. It's called a free look period. You can go up in coverage, down in coverage, keep it the same, make any changes necessary to the policy. We know that you need to go over your budget. So what most of my clients are doing is backing that coverage down a little bit to an amount that they know is going to be like a Netflix subscription coming out of their checking account. And so that will go ahead and give you time. I'm going to go ahead and send you an email talking about all the policy highlights, and then I'm going to give you your coverage options. And so once you're approved, you can go ahead and have your coffee in the morning at the breakfast table with you and the missus, figure out exactly what's the most affordable and comfortable for you. And then if we keep it there, fine. A year from now, I'm going to follow up with you. I'm your guy. You're stuck with me now, Mike.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to do a review. Would you rather have a 6-month or a year review? A year? Perfect. Did you want to go ahead and back this down to the $50,000 or the $25,000? And, let's go ahead and go with the 50.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. What was your middle initial again? And I go right into the
There you go.
application.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So that's it, man.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I just, if you check out the True Talk, but you talked about having quality of business issues early on and then working through it. And now you're on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And all these little things that everything you're mentioning, like that's why your quality of business is going up, because there's no room for error there. Like there's going to be no, your client knows exactly what they're getting. You're getting all the objections out of the way.
Right.
And by the end of that appointment, if it's a deal or not. And if it's not, you're going to walk away and go to the next one.
That's it.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's us. Sometimes it's just not a right fit for the client. Sometimes it's a timing thing. I've had clients where they say no, and then 3 months later they're calling me back, going, "Hey, I really think we should get that." Dude, you just never know.
Yeah.
But the last thing you want to do is force people into something that they don't want, because then you deal with the quality of business issues, or rush your appointment and not do those. Because I think that's where people get screwed up. Like, this process is 5 steps, great. There's people right now that will start using it, Shannon. It will go well, and then they'll forget the small things. They'll get away from it because they'll get a lay down. They'll get an appointment that, the guy would have bought insurance himself if he could, right? And then they get head faked and go, well, I didn't really need to go through all that stuff. I didn't need to set the expectations like that. I just need to get to my next appointment.
Right.
And it's a slippery slope.
It is, and one of the biggest things with a process, if you go through some presentations and you're not closing it, getting the application, now you can go back and ask yourself, where did I screw up? Right.
Yeah.
Like, my guys we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's always going back to the basics.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part.
Right. Yeah, to your point, you have the process, so you can just go back. Hey, step 2, I screwed up.
Yeah.
If you got no process, it's like, I don't know where you screwed up.
Yeah.
Every appointment, as you said, you start all willy-nilly. I like that, by the way. Don't run your business willy-nilly.
Do not run your business willy-nilly.
No, not in the home. Run 5 steps.
That's right. Not if you got bills, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I love this. This is great stuff. And what you said earlier on, what is a huge lesson, like this sales process. You've picked up stuff that other people have done, and you built something for yourself.
That's right.
It's not let me carbon copy everything you're doing. Yeah. It's let me look at your process and, I can add that. You know what? My personality don't really fit the way you said that. I can do what Steve does there. And, hey, I saw, Sean say that. Like, it's taking a little bit from everything and finding what works for you.
And it constantly evolves.
Sure.
Like, this business is always changing. If you're not changing with the business, your business is doomed.
Absolutely.
Right. So we have to be chameleons, right? We have to go ahead and adapt to change. And so this way I can there's a lot of smart people here at FFL, man.
Sure.
And so I can always add little bits and pieces.
Yep. Yeah.
I love it.
That's it. That's great stuff, dude.
Thanks, man.
Well, I appreciate you sharing. I look forward to you. Absolutely. I look forward to you hitting Hall. Have you hit Hall of Fame already this year?
I've got about 430-ish families.
Okay,
right?
so you're already over
but that's a combination, bro. I'm about 35 families short for the life side.
Okay.
No problem.
You're going to hit both. Love it. Well, I will see you in February with your Hall of Fame dinner.
Yeah.
You're going to ride the bull? We're in a space bull this year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what a space bull is, but we're going to have one.
I don't care.
It may be a regular bull with an astronaut helmet, but
hey, as long as I don't get thrown off of it like Sean did on his jet ski, I'm good.
Yeah, no, we won't. No. And it's not like the real bull either. So, but I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, man.
And take something from this and tweak your if what you're doing is not working, change it. If it is, keep doing it.
That's right.
That's as simple as that. If you watch this, I'm already great in the field. Okay, cool. Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep it moving.
Yep. And if you're not, then make some tweaks.
There you
but have a process.
That's right.
Maybe this isn't maybe you do 5, maybe you do 6 steps. I don't know. But have a process. Yeah. Maybe it's 3, right. But have something.
There you go.
A process. That way, to your point, you can figure out what went wrong when it goes wrong versus just going into it, as you put it, all willy-nilly.
That's right.
I like that, by the way.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in. You know where to find us every week on Next Level Live. Shannon, thanks for coming up, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching. Next week on Tuesday at 8 a.m., we have True Talk with Tyler Sagal. And on Friday at 11 a.m., we have a special TNL episode from FFL President Sean Mike. You don't want to miss that one, so make sure you tune in. Like, comment, and subscribe to keep up with our latest training. See you all next week.